How's it going, folks, and welcome back. It's episode number 50 of Part 2 Primera. I don't quite know how we're here, both in episode number and the match that's happening today, because, as you know, if you watched yesterday's episode, we got the Champions League quarterfinals today. We are going to be taking on Bayern Munich, who I'm quite excited to take on. Their key player is Ansu Fati, who, I'll be honest, is absolutely ridiculous in this save game. Of course, we have got one of Bayern's own players playing for us, and the good news for us is there is no clause in his contract that says he can't feature today. So Pablo Torre, maybe you're going to be able to show the Bayern fans what they spent 40 million on, and well, the reason that you have a future with them, rather than me potentially signing you back. That would be the dream scenario for me. We loan Pablo Torre back for all the years of his Bayern contract, then just get him on a free. That would go up there with my best business ever. Somehow don't think that's going to happen. But since you were last here, we have been getting into the tail end of the La Liga season. 4 games played, and 4 is a magic number. 3 of these games, we've managed to score 4 in. The goals are starting to flow. And, well, Avramides, I think this might be his first ever career hat-trick, especially for us. He has been a player who's been in and out of the goals, but as of late, he really has, I feel like, turned a corner. 12 goals this year, that is way more than, of course, the 7 he had the year prior. You can see the average ratings as well have stepped up. I definitely think he's been a beneficiary this year of just better quality in the final third. Elsewhere, Siapina got on the score sheet. He got his 4th goal. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists. He's done very well, hasn't he? I feel bad for Mahika, who was on the bench for this one. But no, Siapina's looked great. Martinez had a good game as well at the back. We didn't really need to have a good game. We scored 4-1. We'll take it. And well, we followed up that result with a really good 4-1 win again, this time against Athletic Bilbao. In this game, Capanu got on the score sheet. That doesn't happen too often. That was really, really nice to see. It's worth noting that with Athletic Club Bilbao, they have just been pretty awful. They are currently sat down in, if we just scroll down here, 16th place. The good news for them is there's a little bit of a gap between them and the teams fighting it out in the relegation spots. But you can see here just a steady downward trend over the last few years. They've struggled. We beat them convincingly. And while we then went on to beat Getafe, another team right down at the foot of the table. 4-0 win in this one. Nice variety on the goal scorers. Both centre-backs getting in on the score sheet, as well as Pablo Torre, who also bagged 2 assists in that one. Now, most recently, we took on Valencia. This was a pretty big game, and whilst we have built up a gap over them, a win here could have all but assured Champions League football. So as you can imagine, when we scored within the first 3 minutes, I was feeling pretty good about things. Unfortunately, they went down swinging, and they clipped us and knocked us out. Yes, they got a goal there in the 35th minute, and then as both teams went on the attack, trying to chase the win that was kind of important for both teams, they scored that goal. The keeper off-sighted slightly. Valencia, 2-1 winners. I think they got rather lucky when we look at the stats. I mean, we had a 1.35 XG to their 0.5. I'm doing the thing, aren't I? I'm doing that thing that people do where they complain about the XG. Look, we didn't score 2. But squad management has been a really important factor over the course of the last few game weeks. And as a result of that, we go into today's game with a full-strength team, a fully fit team, and that feels really nice to say. It's just lovely to look across the entire team and have everyone fit and raring to go. And with that all in mind, this is the team I'm going to go with for today's game. Fairly standard. I think the only real surprise changes are that Martinez is going to be on the bench with Siapina on the right and Mahika up front. I feel like Mahika is just too good to drop at this moment in time. After he scored that winner against PSG, I feel like he has to start this game and be on the pitch for us. It means that Siapina plays in a slightly less than optimal role out on the right-hand side. If he doesn't perform, we can shuffle things around. Martinez is fit and raring to go on the bench. And while perhaps the big surprise, dare I say, is the fact I am going to go with Pablo Torre over Calderon for today's game. Truth be told, Pablo Torre's kind of rekindled his form of the last few years. Of course, last season he had a horrible, horrible season due to loads of injuries. This year, and especially as of late, he's elevated his performances up a level, and I feel like he is going to have a little bit of a point today playing against the club that, of course, he's on loan from. So this opening leg is away from home. I think the critical thing here is to try and hold our own, try and get an away goal. Much like the game against PSG, if we're going to lose, if we're going to slip up, we want to be making sure that we're getting away goals because they can prove critical over the course of the 2 legs. In terms of their team, they've got Fati on the right. They've also got this guy, a regen Austrian forward up front. I mean, he looks interesting. He's not your typical forward, is he? But he's a super, super creative player, Lutloff. we're going to have to be wary of him today. The rest of their team, fairly standard. Maybe a little bit interesting to see Phil Foden playing alongside Florentino Luis in a kind of deeper midfield role. They've got a hell of a lot of creativity in their team. I can kind of see why they're willing to let Pablo Torre come on loan to us, because I don't think he'd start in their current lineup. So we have got a highlight starting here with 2 minutes gone. And whilst this is kicking off, it's worth mentioning that if we win this game, we will play the winner of Man City v Real Madrid. So, yeah, it's not much of a prize, really. We're just going to kind of endure our suffering for longer. I feel like with the Champions League this year, it's a fairly strong final set of teams, especially on our side of the bracket. I think we'd have to do something pretty special to win somehow. And if I'm being entirely realistic, just trying to put up as much of a fight as we can is all we can really expect. You can see 20 minutes gone here. They are dominating this game. They've had 71% of the ball. We are yet to have a shot. I'm wondering if I want to change things slightly here, which might seem a little bit mad. I know their wing-backs like to overlap a little bit because I did take a look at their team going into today's game. With that in mind, I'm going to change things up. It might look like I'm panicking, but there is some method to this madness. We're going to go to 2 defensive mids with Blanco and Capanu. Blanco is going to basically play as a segundo volante for us. That is a role that he can do reasonably well. I'm also going to play Pablo Torre in the more attacking area, trying to get in behind their centre mids because they don't have a centre defensive mid. Avramides and Siapina, maybe you're going to need to do a little bit in terms of tracking back. But yeah, seems like they're going to have a lot of the ball. If they're going to have the ball, I want to make sure we've got men goal side of it. I think 2 defensive mids maybe opens up that opportunity a little more in this game. But anyway, 25 minutes gone, and while they continue to be on the offensive as Florentino Luis shoots just wide of the post. That was a warning shot in our direction. I do feel like an away goal is going to be critical here, but I mean, 0-0 wouldn't be terrible. I just feel like it's naive to expect us not to concede in this kind of game against a Bayern squad with this kind of quality. With that all said, though, we're at half-time, and it is 0-0, and after an early flurry of chances, we definitely started to hold our own as the half went on, maybe frustrating them a tad. I kind of suspect that Bayern in this game are going to really want to go for it. So if they, don't get a breakthrough within the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, they may go more attacking. That may open up opportunities for us as well. But anyway, we're already 15 minutes into the half. I am going to pause things up here as a highlight looks like it might be about to begin. I'll hope that that is a false reading. I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Calder on, I think. I'm going to play him out on the left. I'm then going to play Siapina down the middle and Martinez on the right. I'm going to change Calder on to a winger just because he is left-footed. And even if he has a little bit of a lack of crossing, I think he's better suited to that role. I think Siapina as well will change to a shadow striker. I kind of feel like, especially in games like this where we're just not having a lot of the ball, having a playmaker is a little bit redundant. I want to see the ball get forward quickly. I want to see us hitting 3 men wherever they are on the pitch rather than, focusing all our play for a singular player who, in Pablo Torre's case, wasn't having the best day at the office. Capanu's also on a yellow card and struggling for fitness. So I am going to kind of, sooner than I would like, make a triple change here. I know Bayern have already made some subs, but I think maybe with wingers we can catch them out on the break. We've got quick players in the wide areas. Let's see if we can utilise them. This has been a kind of good game as far as I'm concerned. The fact we've not conceded in 71 minutes can only really be a positive thing. We already have more clean sheets in the league this year than last year, although, I thought for a second they were going to score. Ramadani's just made a massive, massive stop for us. That was crazy. That was a free header from up close. I'm now kind of hoping that that was the chance of the highlight and that this is all pointless, but Bayern bringing the ball forward again with players like Fati and Foden in their team, we have to be afraid. Still got Goretzka playing for them as well. So many men behind the ball for us here as we look to just, see out this game. At this point, I've given up the hope of getting a goal, although maybe I shouldn't. Siapina having to battle away through the middle, now wide with Kimmich. But we're going to win it temporarily through Blanco, but it's still dinked over to Fati, and Ramadani makes another huge stop for us. This man signed for about £10 million, including agent fees. He's looking like he's worth every penny with the saves he's making in this big game here. And now, Martinez is on the break. I want to believe this can amount to something, but I've played a lot of FM21. I know that this is the end of the highlight. But 13 minutes left. We're still in it. We could still win it. If we could take a 0-0 into the home leg, that would be pretty good. Then we just have to win on the night at home, which is still a tall order. But should we lose this game 1-0, it would be kind of disastrous, I feel like, because with a lack of an away goal, we know that if they score against us, we've got a bit of a mountain to climb. Fatty's in behind again. Ramadani, I was going to say, could you come to the rescue? Fatty took his shot quickly. The answer is a resounding yes, he bloody can come to the rescue. Oh my word, I think we know who we have to thank here in this game. I don't want to speak too prematurely, but there he is again to pick up the corner. And at this point, I've accepted we're not getting a goal here. Let's time waste. Let's lower the tempo slightly. 3 minutes left to hold on. It's not pretty, but it's a job that we've done there. I mean, the back four have been superb. Ramadani's ended up on an 8.4. Yeah, no, I think the big thing with Ramadani is he's not the greatest in terms of communication. Maybe his bravery could be a tad better. His raw shot stopping, his one-on-ones, his reflexes, his handling, his aerial reach, his ability to come and collect the ball is just unquestionable. He has just put on a bit of a showcase there. 9 shots on target on his goal, and he saved every single one of them. And in getting a draw there, we give ourselves a chance. And that's all I can really ask for. You can see in the Real Madrid game, they beat Man City 2-1 at home. Elsewhere, an absolute banger between Manchester United and Dortmund, which saw Moukoko get sent off after 35 minutes. That's pretty mental as far as games go. You can see here, a 9-goal thriller. I feel like a lot of the neutrals won't have watched our game today, just based on what happened there. We absolutely have to praise Ramadani as well for what we've just seen there. It's rare that goalkeepers put in proper man-of-the-match performances where you kind of see all the highlights on the key highlights. We saw all his highlights there. He was absolutely top drawer. Javi Moro, one of our fans, he loves him. I love Ramadani too. I think he's part of the fan club. But yes, that gives us a chance. The second leg is in a week's time. We have got Real Betis during the week. They're currently in 13th. With the league as it stands right now, there are 15 points left on offer from the remaining 5 games of the season. Looking at things, we are currently 11 points ahead of Valencia. So with that in mind, this Betis game isn't really a do-or-die game by any means, so I think I will just rotate it a fair bit. I'm confident that we can get the required 4 points that we're going to need in our remaining games outside of this one to get top 4. So yeah, that's the plan. Rest up, lads. We're coming back for Bayern. It's in a week. We're at home. Let's see if we can cause a massive upset. So here we are, second leg of the quarterfinal, but I don't want to just give you that. We've got more to cover before we get into today's game. We did play against Real Betis. As you can see here, it finished 2-2. When I said I was going to rotate the team, I really did rotate the team for this game, like completely. Machedo went in goal for the first time all season. He did okay, so that was nice to see. He ended up on a 7.7. Calderon also had a good game out on the left-hand side, maybe trying to play himself into contention for today's game, but that isn't going to be the case. Unfortunately, it did finish 2-2. It's not the most disastrous of results, considering the rotation that happened. You can see here, 9 points ahead of Valencia. Way better goal difference. If we bottle it from here, like, something's gone very wrong. I think we would have to lose every single game. I don't see that happening. But as well as that game, we did have a youth intake happen since the last episode. I was going to cover it in the first half, but then I forgot because I'm an idiot. So here we are in the second half of today's episode talking about it. Here's the players I'm yet to give contracts to. There's still players like Gavin Peake who I might give them to, but I mean, these all look really average, but I'm doing a bit of a magic trick here. They're not the players to talk about today. There are 2 players I want to talk about today who are really good. The first is Jonathan Marino. He is a right winger, apparently. He has free dribbling. He's not a right winger. He is without a doubt a deep line playmaker. He could be really good at this role as well. 15 years old, light-hearted personality, good determination, consistent performer, not going to walk into the first team anytime soon, but looks like he could be a potentially really good midfielder down the line. We are going to train him as a roaming playmaker. I think I should put probably an additional focus on ball control, just because we don't play with deep line playmakers. And even if I had a deep line playmaker and Jonathan was that man, they need to have better than free dribbling. Like, that is just inexcusable at the level of football we play at. But the other player that we got for our intake, I'm very excited by. David Moyo, who is from Zimbabwe. I don't think I've ever had a Zimbabwean regen. Is it Zimbabwean? It sounds right in my head to say Zimbabwean. I can confirm it is Zimbabwean. I never doubted myself. You can see here he's part English, part Zimbabwean. I assume that he's going to be a non-EU player for us. It'd be a bit awkward if a player through our youth intake took up a non-EU player spot. But let me tell you now, this guy, David, phenomenal. 15 years old, super consistent performer, and he is just a ready-made centre-back. He has everything that he needs. Sometimes you get a defender who can't tackle or can't mark. Maybe they're not brave enough. With this guy, he's just super well-rounded everywhere. And whilst there's no super standout attributes, if he can steadily progress over the next few years, he could end up being the first player ever from Zimbabwe to feature in one of my Football Manager teams. At least that I can remember. If I'm wrong there, loyal viewers, those of you who've been around for years, maybe you can remember a Zimbabwean who's played for me before. Off the top of my head, I can't remember one. But exciting obscure nationality regens aside, we've got a big game to focus on today, and I am making a big call. Mahika is on the bench for today's game. I am bringing in Martinez out on the right-hand side. We are going to play the same system that we started the previous game with. Obviously, 0-0 after the first leg means that realistically, we just need to win this game on the night. A scoring draw wouldn't be enough. If it finished 0-0, it would go to extra time. Do I think that we could take it to extra time and then all the way to penalties whilst keeping a clean sheet at 0-0? No, I don't think we can realistically expect Ramadani to have as good a game as he had last time. So really, I'm looking at our team here to step up and be counted. And well, with that all said and done, with the team fully rested after the massive amount of rotation that was done midweek, we can't really go into this game any more prepared than we are now. No injuries to speak of. Players kind of at peak efficiency, peak match sharpness. Let's see if they can step up for us today. I am nervous for this. Let me tell you that now. This is huge. This is big. And today they are going to play Phil Foden at centre attacking mid. I mean, they've got Foden. They've got Fatty. Their team is ridiculous, isn't it? Phil Foden looks really good in this save game. Let's see what we can do here. This is big. This is scary. We are in a Champions League quarter-final. It feels a little bit surreal. It kind of feels like we've just squeezed our way through the various rounds. Thinking back to the group stage where we got that last-minute goal against Lazio, thinking about the nature of the win against PSG, thinking about the first leg of this performance, it would be on brand if we could eke our way through. I think we have to be aware that we're not bulletproof. There is no kind of plot here. It's not like a TV series or an anime, whereas the underdog team, we're going to step up and just make our way through to the final. We've kind of got to make our own luck here. A little concerning that they're having the first highlight of the game yet again. Now, in contrast to the previous game against them, I think it's worth acknowledging we're having 45% of the ball at the moment. That's better than the 21% we had after 20 minutes against them previously. And in fact, looking at the stats, we're having shots, we're having chances. We're not seeing them, which probably means they're not the best of chances. But compared to last game, this has been a very different first half, just with a very similar scoreline, unfortunately. As at the break, suddenly we're here, it's 0-0. That shot they had was the only highlight of the game, and it was the only shot they had in the entire half. What do you make of that? I mean, on the one hand, we've grown into this game, it would seem. We're playing reasonably well. On the other, it feels like we need to score sooner rather than later. You know, make this dominance count, force them into a situation where they're going to be chasing. Maybe we can do that here. Avramides skipping down the wing. Kimmich makes, well, an inch-perfect tackle. Those are the kind of tackles that you see given as penalties a lot in FM this year. I was sat crossing my fingers hoping it was going to be given. It wasn't, but we're still on the attack here. Avramides in the wide area. And I mean, Alessio, I have been a bit critical of you. A bit like I was in Machedo back in the day. Maybe I owe this man an apology. Maybe I should say sorry. Because that finish is ridiculous. He wins the header, a great interception by him. Siapina holds it up well. His countryman, and well, laid inside. And that finish, I mean, Farina's in goal. He can't be held accountable there. Yes, he's been beaten at the near post, but that has been smashed into the top corner. We have our noses ahead. Remain calm, everyone. Half an hour gone here. This would normally be the part where I start to make changes, but I don't think I want to. We're playing really well, and they're now playing Shaqiri as a striker. I thought it was the Shaqiri. It's not. It's Edmund Shaqiri. So, yeah, fret not. If you were thinking that 6 years into the future that Swiss Shaqiri was going to be playing, it's not him. It's just a very tasty-looking regen. I mean, suddenly there's 10 minutes left. I feel like at this point I should make my changes. Kapanu is going to come off for Owusu. Elsewhere in the team, Pablo Torre out for Calderon. And I don't think I'm going to make a change besides that. I'm going to do the exact same thing we did to try and kill off the previous game. Lower the tempo, up the time wasting. This could be the most, just ugly win ever, but I would not care one little bit. Time is trickling away. And now we have a corner. I mean, another goal here, and it's all done. It's whipped in. Galarreta hits the crossbar. With 2.5 minutes left, I will hope we're not going to live to regret that. And I don't think we are. What an awful win. But I'm not going to complain. They all count. Avramides, thank you. I'm sorry that I ever doubted you. He scored the all-important goal there. And to be honest, we just stood up and were counted in that kind of second leg. We came out with a much better performance than previously. We obviously have a bit of a fortress built at home. And we've ended up shutting out Bayern Munich over 2 legs there, which is absolutely no mean feat. I was a bit concerned that we might lose today and the season would kind of just fizzle out into nothing. But no, it's going to go on a little bit further. We are going to be taking on Man City because they've just beaten Real Madrid 3-0, which is a little bit terrifying because Real Madrid are kind of the team that I'm scared of. The fact that they've just been absolutely mullered by Man City, who we now have to play, is scary. We do receive £10 million for playing in the quarterfinals, which is absolutely brilliant. And as you can see here, we're drawn against Man City. The first leg, I think, is going to be at home. And, well, that will be coming your way next time in a little over 2 weeks in game time. Or for you guys watching at home, 48 hours time, because tomorrow's Sunday. We're going to be back on Monday to kick off the week with an absolute banger. My, oh my, what a crazy episode. Some of the players need a rest. We've got 10 days till the next game, so they absolutely can have that rest. Next time out, it's going to be Champions League final action. We are into the final 4. We are the last Spanish team standing, and I don't quite know how we've managed it, but I'm not going to complain one little bit. Oh, what a great result against Bayern. I want to say a great result, maybe not the best of performances. Oh, I don't believe it. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, I am going to go away and try and compose myself. I will see you guys in a couple of days' time. Thank you for the support on the series. To get to 50 episodes is no mean feat. And what a fantastic way this result was to mark it. Even if the games weren't all that exciting, the result itself will stand the test of time. We've just beaten Bayern Munich. We've got Man City next time. We've already knocked out PSG. I feel like we're unbeatable at this point. Hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. It is me, Jack. And I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm out.